Welcome back to the art room. Mrs. Larrabee here. This week we're going to be reading the book Hot Rod Hamster. In the book, the character Hamster is going to be building a hot rod to race. We're going to be building a hot rod right along with him by drawing our own hot rod. You'll need a piece of paper and your coloring supply. A pencil or a marker would be handy as well. Grab those supplies and we'll get started. Hot Rod Hamster. By Cynthia Lord, pictures by Derek Anderson. Great day, grin day, build a car to win day. Cheer day, chase day, gonna win a race day. I need a hot rod. A hot rod for a hamster? You'll need something very small and fast. Old car, new car, shiny painted blue car, rust car, clean car, itty bitty green car. Which would you choose? All right, grab your sheet of paper and whatever you're going to be drawing with. Let's go through a couple of possibilities of what we might draw. Now, for this artwork, you only need to draw one race car. Here's a couple of examples. It could be a big race car or a tiny race car. You get to choose. I'm going to draw a couple of different samples on my paper, but you only have to draw one on yours. Okay, if you were interested in racing in something like this taxi, here's an idea of how you might draw it. If you want a taxi, you could draw along with me. If not, just watch and maybe something you do want will come up. All right, so I would start by drawing a curve for the back of my taxi, and then another curve for the front and the back, and then I would just use a line to connect them. We're only drawing the bodies of the cars right now. We're not adding wheels or anything just yet. That'll come soon. What about this blue race car that the dog's standing on? It has a very slanted hood in the front, so I would start by drawing a diagonal line, and then the windshield and the top of my car. Maybe on the front, let's see, I'm going to add a little line down, and then I'll connect the front and back. What about this little truck right here? If you'd like to draw a truck, you could start by drawing a rectangle, and then we can add a triangle to the front for the windshield and the cab. And maybe you want an itty bitty green car. This car is in the shape of an oval. So I can start my oval and go all the way around. And then I might stop right here and then make this U-shaped so that the driver could sit. All right, if you haven't drawn your car yet, go ahead and pause the video, choose one of these body shapes, or maybe make up your own that you want to add to your paper, and then come back and we'll see what Hamster chooses. I'll take the green car. It's just my size. It'll need new tires and wheels. Yes, I want to burn rubber. Smooth wheels, stud wheels, driving through the mud wheels. Fat wheels, thin wheels, take her for a spin wheels. Which would you choose? All right, before we find out what Hamster chooses, grab your hot rod again and let's talk about a couple of examples for wheels as well. I'll set this over to the side, just a few sample wheels here. Maybe you want to do those stud wheels that it talked about in the book. I started with the circle and then I added some zigzags or some little triangles around the edges to look like those stud wheels. Since we're only seeing the side of the car, we're only going to see two of its wheels, but don't forget to make both of them. All right, maybe we want to do something like a mud tire that has some grip on it for our race car. I just made it look like it was a beefy tire by adding different size squares all the way around. I added a tall square and a small square, a tall square and a short one. All right, maybe for this truck we want to add a mud tire. Here was my thought of a mud tire. You might have a different way to draw it, but I draw a big circle and a small circle, and then I added this wavy line to look like the mud had splashed on the tire. I actually think it looks a little bit like a donut. But a donut tire could win a race too, right? And then, you know, we could do something more like these fancy thin tires. They also mentioned those in the story, with the fancy little hubcap here in the center. All right, it's your turn. Go ahead and add wheels to your car if you haven't already. You can pause the video here and then come back and we'll find out what Hot Rod chooses. I want the fat wheels. There's more to squill. And you'll need an engine that'll purr. Purr? I want it to roar. Coil parts, flat parts, gleaming this and that parts, round parts, straight parts, funny, out-of-date parts. Which would you choose? Hamster's going to be adding something special to his car. I see this fancy engine here and a fan, and maybe this could be like the exhaust coming off of a car. Let me give you a couple of ideas. If you already have an idea, go ahead and start drawing on yours. Maybe I would want to add some bumpers to this car. I want to be sure that my taxi can bounce off all the other cars in the race and not get hurt. And I'm going to add some windows. I haven't done that yet to some of these. All right, maybe for this car, I want to try to add an engine like this. I see a rectangle and then a tall, skinny rectangle and a bigger rectangle on top. So I would draw it with some straight lines and then maybe a little square and then some kind of big rectangle on the top for a fancy engine. For the mud truck, maybe I want to add a pipe right here. So I just did 2 parallel lines, and I could put an oval at the top and the exhaust could come out. And on this car, maybe I'll just add a spoiler. That's something that's added to the back to help it be more aerodynamic, make it go faster. All right, let me see what you're going to add to your car. Go ahead and pause the video if you need, and then come back and let's find out what Hamster chooses. 1 gleaming engine, check. But something's still missing. Flames. Cool flames, hot flames, give it all you got flames. Short flames, wide flames, sizzle down the side flames. Which would you choose? All right, let's make some decisions on some flames. Look at all of these cool flame options over here. What if we took some of these and added them to our car? Like maybe you could add a wavy line going up, something like this with a little point at the top. That could look like flames. Maybe something a little more jagged. That kind of reminds me almost of lightning. Some kind of lightning flame going up. Oh, I never added a window to this car. I'm going to add one now. All right, maybe even just some stripes, some racing stripes down the side of the truck. And let's see, on this one, maybe I'll add the flames to the back. All right, let's see what Hot Rod chooses. Blazing hot flames, please. They're fiery fast. Sounds good. This time, I get to choose something. A helmet. Now I'm ready to roll. Is your car a toy? You're awfully small. You'll get lost in our dust. Stare face, scowl face, frowny, grouchy, growl face, bored face, dare face, nose up in the air face. Which would you choose? I don't think there's anything for us to draw here, but think for just a moment. How would you talk to somebody else who was in a race with you that you were competing with? You could say things like, nice car, or I hope you do well, good luck. Let's see how Hot Rod responds to the people that are trying to discourage him. Grr, I'm built for speed. Animals, start your engines. Ready, set, go. Puff race, tight race, can't go left or right race. Oops race, oh race, don't know where to go race. Beep beep. Hot Rod Hamster coming through. Crown prize, cup prize, cannot pick it up prize, silver prize, gold prize, lots of fun to hold prize. Which would you choose? All right, let's grab our cars one more time and decide what kind of trophy would we like. Here's a couple of examples on these finished ones. We're not coloring it in just yet, but go ahead and draw your trophy. This one has a flag. This one built a trophy out of shapes with squares and rectangles and a circle. Here's another one that's been built out of different shapes. You could put it beside your car, on top of your car. Maybe you want to build a crown. I did it by drawing an oval and then a line up with some scallops across the top or a zigzag and the line back down. You could draw a ribbon using circles and ovals with a point at the end. Go ahead and decide which kind of trophy you would like, and you can add it to your picture. I'll add one of these built trophies right here. I'll use a rectangle and a small square and maybe a longer rectangle, and I'm going to put something like this on the top with a big circle. And maybe this will be like a ribbon coming off the top. All right, go ahead and decide what your trophy is going to look like. Let's look what Hot Rod Hamster chooses. Thank you. He took them all. The end. All right, now it's time to add some color to your hot rod. A couple of examples here. Some of our finished ones that have been drawn. It's your turn to add color to your project. You know I'd love to see it when you're done if you have time. Hope you guys had fun building your own hot rod today. I'll look forward to seeing you back here next week in the art room.